All right, so I'm just going to welcome you again. This is the Wisconsin AAUW Membership 101. I know we've got some new membership people here. We have some branch presidents. We have some experienced membership people here. But in that role, I think it's been difficult sometimes to find the information that you need. It's not necessarily easy to find at national or even not there. So, and depending on who your predecessor was or whatever situation your branch is in, sometimes you just need a little help with finding the basic information. So that's what the intention is here, just covering basic information. So what I'd like to do is we're going to just talk about who our members are, some just definitions, look at the community hub briefly, mostly just a couple tips on problem solving and what the 5-star means to membership VPs and where's your support, because I want you to know you are not alone as a membership person. So real basic, who can be a member? A graduate holding an associate or equivalent, a bachelor's degree or higher from a qualified educational institution. And I'm sure you're all aware of this, men are eligible as members as well. They have not overrun our organization, but we do have a few in the state. So who knows? Members fit into categories. This summer, there were several questions about students and their dues. So we do have student affiliates and their fees vary depending on whether they attend a partner school or not. Right now, as far as I know, there's only 3 partner schools: Gateway, which is a technical college, Lakeland, and Milwaukee School of Engineering. So there's just 3. But I know we have a new college university person at the state board level, so they will hopefully be working with the colleges and maybe stir up a little more interest there. We've had many more than this in the past. So people, turnover of staffing, people forget. So to be a partner school, it's $175. And with that, partner schools get 2 free memberships, 2 national memberships. So it's kind of a nice feature. Members are in categories. Now, when you register or renew, I should say, as a national member. So you pay national dues directly. It doesn't mean you need to belong to a branch. But then the next step is if you belong to a branch, you are then a national member with branch affiliations. And of course, people can also be dual members. So that's a regular member, holds membership in more than one branch. And all they have to do is pay the additional branch fee. In the past, that was kind of a convoluted process, but with this new renewal process, it was much easier, I have to say. So that's one thing I appreciated about the community hub. And then, of course, we have a couple other categories: honorary lifetime. So a person becomes honorary lifetime after 50 years of membership, and the years do not have to be consecutive. At that point, members no longer pay national, state, or branch dues. Application for this is done anytime during or after renewing for the 50th year of membership, and that's done by the treasurer or the membership chair in your branch. So I will be sending you that application probably tomorrow, so just FYI. A life member is a member who pays the equivalent of 20 years of national dues, but then they continue to pay branch and state. And currently, 20 years costs $1,340. So let's look at the dues a little bit here. National dues right now are $67. $3 of that is not tax deductible. It's national dues are free for student affiliates as long as they belong to one of those 3 schools I talked about. Wisconsin state dues, $13 for members of the branch and $6.50 for student affiliates. So local dues, every branch is different, so that's determined by them. So, and as far as student members, they entered their anticipated date of graduation, and that's when the community hub determines that they get the student rate. So if a student is not a member of one of the affiliated schools, then they pay $18.81. But if they're a member of an affiliated school, Lakeland, Gateway, MSOE, then it's free. So that's all kind of spelled out down there. And I'm sure at this point, you're pretty comfortable with that. And just so you know, national dues are increasing $5 next time we renew. So it's going to be up to, what is that, $72. So that was decided by the national board 2 years ago, I think. So the first raise was from 59 to 62, and then this year 67, and next year $5 more. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen. So we're going to look at your branch now and see how your membership is looking and how it's doing. So how healthy is your branch? So do you know your members? Do you know the new members? Do you know the regular members? Do you know the long-term members? And what I mean by that is a couple, my predecessor at the state level decided to, and it was kind of arbitrary, but she said, okay, new members are 0 to 2 years, regular members 3 to 14 years, long-term members are 15 and more years. And so she said, let's look at that and see where we are. So this is an example of one branch. This was from a couple of years ago, and obviously it's from one of the larger branches in the state. So looking at it from that breakdown, there were 16 new members, 0 to 2. There were 105 members, 3 to 14, and there were 55 long-term members. So 15 or more years of membership. So that all looks good. They've got a nice mix of membership there. But then when it was time for retention 1 year later, so they had those numbers at the beginning of the renewal process, but by the time renewals were done, they had 7 new 0 to 2 members. I'm sorry. That's not right. They had lost 7 of the 0 to 2 members. They had lost 14 of the regular members, and they had lost 7 of the long term. So, you know, looking at the raw numbers, it doesn't look too bad, but when you look at the number 16, the 7 non-renewals is 44%, while the other renewals they lost only 13%. So that's a concern. That's something that we're working on. And I am planning on doing another retention Zoom call early next year. So you might be interested in participating, but I'll keep you posted on when that comes together. So this is probably no surprise. Branch membership has been trending down since the pandemic. And I'm going to show you how the branches look right here. So all the branches are listed down at the bottom. And this membership is from February 1st, 2019. That's the blue lines, the blue columns. And it's through February 1st, 2022. So you can see the 4 different years and how membership looked. And I'm sure you can find your branch. We did lose 3 branches during that period of time in the state. So Oconomowoc disbanded, Lakeland or Lake Country disbanded, and West Bend disbanded. But what it boils down to is about 45% of Wisconsin branches have retained 90% of their membership. So 90%, where am I getting that number from? That's in my opinion, that's sort of an arbitrary number, but where it comes from is the 5-star program, which challenges branches to retain 90% of their membership. So if you were involved with an application for 5-star this past year, then you are familiar with that. Where it shows up is in the first start area advancement. The nice thing about the advancement star is there are 5 options, and you are only required to do 3 of them. One of them is retain at least 90% of your branch membership. But the rest of them, there's other things. Most of them are related to donations and money. But that one, you know, if that's a trouble spot for your branch, like it might be for some branches, then you can skip it and focus more on some of the other things. So I just wanted to let you know where that 90% is coming from. But the good news is, in the past year, and it's only the past year that National looks at for the 90%. So in the past year, 69% of Wisconsin branches have retained 90% of their membership. So I think that's fabulous. And so you can see there's some real strong branches. And when you look at the yellow lines, there are places and some branches that are creeping up. So, you know, they're doing a good job. Things are hopefully on the upswing and returning back to where we were a couple of years ago. So I just wanted to let you know you're not alone. You may feel like you're the membership VP and it's all on your shoulders, but it is not. And there are ways to get your members. You should expect your members to help you. It's everyone's job to help recruit and retain. And National helps by offering something called Shape the Future. I hope you're all familiar with that because it's a really wonderful tool to recruit new members. And what it is first year National members join at a reduced rate. So they get 50% off the National dues. And that is done through a coupon code. So depending on how many your treasurer is entering or sending off for membership, the numbers will change and the code changes. So right now it's just Shape the Future 2023. So hopefully you're familiar with that and are taking advantage of it because it can be very successful. So it has some extra dividends that hopefully you know about that too. So for every 2 new members you add to your branch, you receive 1 free National membership, up to 3 free National memberships. So recruit 6 new members and you get 3 free National members each year. So this is something that you can use as an incentive. Use Shape the Future as an incentive at your events throughout the year. And National says that Shape the Future is an open to the public event, but it's really up to you to define how you want to use it and when. Many branches use it at every single meeting or simply use it at some of their big public events. So it's really up to you. The other thing that a savvy membership person does is they take those free National memberships and use them as an incentive to their members. So members that recruit have a possibility of getting a free National membership. Or some branches use it to help members who are financially in tough straits and give them, you know, the free National membership. So there's different ways to use it, but it's a really nice benefit in a couple of different ways. So National is keeping that going forward. So that's good news. And there are also, to help you going forward, we're going to dig into Community Hub just a little bit. But just so you know, if you haven't looked around, there's a frequently asked questions section in the Community Hub, which has some great information there. So when you're struggling, that might be a place to start. And there's also training videos. So they go through step by step the renewal process and some of the other things that are happening there. And also office hours. They started that this summer. It's Tuesdays, 2 o'clock our time, Thursdays, 2:30 our time. You do have to reserve your spot specifically for a date. So lately we've had, it's kind of, the numbers have gone down a little bit and people really do get a chance to pose their specific questions. So I don't know if any of you have been on office hours, but if you haven't and you've got a question that you just haven't had luck getting satisfied through anyone in the state or your branch, then that might be the best place to go. And they last about an hour. They're pretty good, and I found them very helpful. So let's look at the community hub just a little bit. So I'm sure the first time that you logged in, it threw you off a little bit when they, instead of saying branch, they refer to it as an affiliate or a company. So this is an off-the-shelf database. So they're not customizing it down to quite where we would like it to be. So just become comfortable. You are now a company or affiliate. And your leadership team is part of a committee. And your branch member, like I said before, is a national member with branch affiliation. So some of the little things that you can change now, which sometimes we weren't able to do some of this stuff, you can change demographic information. So you can go in and change your members' address, phone number, email, etc. But you can't change their member ID. National must do this. And the primary branch is done by the member when they renew. It says when they log in and they can change it then, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's only when you renew, you can choose your primary branch. You can download the roster 2 ways from the first screen, and then the file name would include download. And I'm hoping you can see. So there's a little bit of a difference between the downloads. So the first one, there's, the full address, mailing, join date, expiration date. But from the manage roster screen, when you go to my affiliates and then you manage the roster, there you can see their primary branch. And that is also the area where you can see the state members and sort them out. So I'm thinking we may have to do a roster training coming up. So think about that. I'm going to ask you at the end if you think that's a good idea. But when you download these, they come in a CSV file, which is, you can upload that into Excel or use it just as CSV, and you can do all kinds of sorting and sifting, which is very nice. You can also email people directly from these files. So when the renewal process is going, that's one way to let people know that they have not renewed. Sometimes people have problems adding a member. Sometimes people search in different ways, but you need to have the last name. And if that's not working, then broaden your search. Use part of the name. Try that. If you find 2 records and that is happening, national is the only group that can take care of that. So if you've looked at your roster and somebody has 2 different IDs, that needs to be rectified, and you have to go to national. Email works, but so does office hours. I can't find the member. They may already be part of your branch roster. I can't find the college I attended. That's when you go to AAUW Other. And that's where you can find other schools. Updating your committee roster. So this is where Wisconsin is having the problem right now, because when the state board committee was updated, the person that did it thought that every person on the state board needed to be included, and they didn't see all of the names of the positions we have at the state board. So they decided to put every person who was on the state board and didn't have one of the listed positions on the lower right-hand corner, they all turned them into membership people. So membership people are one of the core state leaders that are going to stay included in the branch rosters. But Wisconsin has like 14, 18 people because we use so many memberships. So national is aware of that. Their work, my understanding, they told me they were working on it, but they wanted to leave it in the branch rosters for a period of time so they could show it to the database company. So the database company could take care of that. So it doesn't, whatever. So hopefully in the next month or 2, that should all be filtered out. But right now, don't erase the state leadership that you're finding in your rosters. Keep them there. All right. Then I want to remove someone who's listed on the committee because they don't hold the branch position, just put their expiration date to 6/30/22. And that will eliminate them from the position. And then you can add a new position at that point. Okay. And we're encouraging to just, rather than going straight to national, think about using your district coordinators and your state leadership. Try to get answers there if you can, because many of the questions are pretty repetitive. So state is set up with, of course, we have all our members, we have branches, then we have district, which I'm hoping you're all familiar with your district coordinator. Then it goes to state. So district is the communication link between the branches and the state. And then state leadership, of course, works and takes things up to national. So I want just to introduce you to your district coordinators. We have several new ones this year. So District 1 is Carol Salinas, and Carol had her District 1 meeting today. She's brand new. So I haven't heard how it went, but I'm sure it was great. District 2, this is a new coordinator, Jean Krell. So that's the Milwaukee, West Suburban, Watertown area, and there hasn't been a meeting yet this fall. Denise Anastasio is the Racine Kenosha. I'm not sure of all the branches in there. I think that's a new position for her. Suzanne Hagan is returning. She's District 4. Is that your district, Donna?
Yes, it's Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls. Is it Toma and the River Falls, I believe?
Oh, okay. And have you had your district meeting yet?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay, awesome. And District 5, Debbie Roeder is brand new. She's got the biggest district. And so they're going to be meeting in October. So the districts are moving along there. They come to the state board meetings. They report out how things are going in the branches. So keep your lines of communication open with them. They're required to have 2 meetings a year. The fall ones are going on right now or have already occurred. And then there's also a state convention meeting. And so that will be coming up, but it's always okay for them to have more meetings. So here's your lifeline. Branch members, as the membership people, challenge your members to help you with membership recruitment. Your district coordinator, there to support you. Use her as a conduit to the state and a sounding board for problems and questions, and do attend the district meetings. I think some of the district coordinators limited to presidents, but really I think it could go beyond that. So you might want to inquire about that. The district meetings are a good place to meet cohorts, get to know the other branch leaders, because that's really where there's just tons of knowledge. So tap into them at the meetings and at the state conventions, and think about joining one of Maggie's monthly branch presidents Zoom call. Like I said, she's broadening it now, and we'll be inviting membership VPs too. State leadership, I think the state is working hard to be more open and transparent and available to you. So don't be afraid to get in touch. The Badger Briefs will keep you up to date what's going on. The website is becoming more active and current. And the state convention, April 28th and 29th. It's going to be in the Pewaukee, Waukesha area, which is just west of Milwaukee. And there's some of the leadership, Maggie Wentz, president, me, membership, and Deb Thiel leadership. If you have a problem and you have not had a satisfactory answer, then of course attend office hours and or email them at connect@aauw.org. Now I'm going to be sending you a follow-up email with some documents, and so all of these links are going to be in there. So don't worry about that. So you'll have kind of a fingertip resource list that you can use as the year goes by. So the quote is not like my favorite quote. It was just part of this particular PowerPoint. So, but I thought it was okay. So I'm looking to do some more Zoom calls early 2023, working on retention. We did one last year. It was successful. I think it bears repeating. So look for that. And then there was some interest during those meetings last year on looking at recruitment through the diversity lens. So I think we'll get some people in here we'll focus a little bit on diversity and how to broaden our population of membership. And then I have this getting word out on social media. I think that's going to be a communication thing. I'm not sure that really falls under my purview, but I think that that's something that we can definitely use some help with across the state. So that's it.